So, all right, we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the USDA Rural Energy for America program, and I'm Harvey Evelata from ARiES Energy. And we want to walk you through just kind of these grant opportunities. So, this is my smart board. So ARiES Energy, a little bit about our company is we make clean energy easy. That's really the bottom line. Our mission is to make clean energy easy, accessible, and affordable for our clients. We offer solar photovoltaic, biomass, waste-to-energy gasification, lighting and electric, power conditioning, grant writing, energy planning, and of course these workshops. The USDA REAP grant, there's two types of projects that are eligible for the renewable energy and, two types of projects that are eligible, renewable energy and energy efficiency. The REAP Renewable Energy Grant is, can equal 25%, and it caps out a total cost for $500,000. The Energy Efficiency Grant, again, is 25%, but the cap on that is $250,000. We set aside, there's a set aside for fast track grants for $20,000 and less. So anything over $20,000 as a grant award is more competitive. Anything under $20,000 goes through a fast track, and that money is more accessible. One thing I want to say about the USDA grant is that it's critically important that we take advantage of this. Over the last 10 years, about $40 million has been given to the state of Iowa. In the state of Tennessee, we've only been awarded about $4 million. So this is federal money that can be awarded to any state, so it's a competitive thing. We build on, it builds economies and communities and economic development. So renewable energy technologies. Typical technologies are solar hot water, photovoltaic, biomass to energy. And then in energy efficiency technology, it's LED lighting, HVAC upgrades, insulation, efficient windows, and anything measurable of energy savings. So this is a short list. There's a lot of products that are available, but this is the more mainstream projects. And eligibility, the big thing here is geography. So typically people think also, well, geography and business size. Those are the two big eligibility factors. A lot of people think in terms of, well, it's a USDA grant, so only ag-based companies are eligible for it. That's not true. It's small businesses in rural areas. What these grants are meant to do is create jobs. Eligible sectors are rural small businesses of all trades, not agriculture. And here's the interesting thing. If you're in a larger city, geography doesn't matter as long as you're ag-based. And so there's a lot of sizes and differences with that. So again, USDA is not just for ag-based businesses. Industry sizes can vary greatly. Based on this North American Industry Classification for Systems, the NAIC, and then will designate your eligibility. It will be determined by your maximum amount of receipts or the number of employees. Those are the two big factors. And again, it's about the grants. There's different levels, and they vary greatly because it is about creating jobs and economic development in these areas. So, for instance, a general building and heavy construction contractor is considered a small business under $33 million, whereas a specialty trade construction contractor is under $14 million. So that's a big range. So you can't just automatically go, oh, I'm a big company, I'm not eligible, or I'm too, you can't just say that. We have to really do a little bit of research and figure out where you stand on that. So again, it's about employees or it's about sales receipts. Different industries are ranked different ways. Here's a great note. So people think that they're eligible or not eligible. 75% of the manufacturers and industries are 500 employees or less. So 75% of the people by default are probably eligible for this grant, or 75% of the companies. Small number of industries, actually the number of employees goes up to 1,500. That's a fairly large size company to be eligible for a grant. We have a long history in grant technology, working with the USDA, and it's always great to receive that check. Photovoltaic systems, I'll give you an example, walking through the numbers, how that could work. Commercial grants and tax credits, the USDA would be 25% of the project. There's also a 30% grant available for it's not grant, 30% tax credit for a total system cost, and then you get accelerated depreciation. All those can be combined. Now, it's a little bit different cost basis as you take the REAP grant as income, and then you go into the federal, and you can take the full grant. So it's just how your accountant looks at it in the numbers. So we can do different models to decide what's the most advantageous to you. And so, in addition to the federal tax credit, depreciation, and USDA grant, we also have in the TVA region is the Green Power Provider Program. So the Green Power Provider Program is 4 cents plus the GSA-1 commercial rate, which is the retail rate for electricity, and that's paid the first 10 years. And then the second 10 years, you would be paid just the retail rate. And so that's the idea, is it's not a use it or lose it situation. You build up a credit, and so during the day, sun's generating if you produce more power, but in the evening you have that credit to fall back on, so you're not losing money on that. Prices are subject to change in 2015. So that program currently is at 4 cents. It started out, the history of the TVA program started out at 12 cents, went to 9 cents, went to 4 cents. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to guess 2015 it'll probably just be the retail value, or rate. Now, keep in mind this GSA-1 rate is usually going to be around 9 to 10 cents. If you're a company that's on GS2 and you're paying less, you automatically got that increase as well. So current program capacity, 50 kW, greater than 50 kW for 2015 is closed. 10 to 50 kW, you'd be on a wait list. And then under 10K, program's still open. So there's still an opportunity. Now, keep in mind that the USDA grants are available for 2 years. So if you don't get into the program this year and you're dependent on the TVA program to financially make it work, you still have 2 years. So it's one of those things that you want to go ahead and apply for the grant. You have 2 years to get it constructed, so you still have plenty of opportunities. If you were looking at a 50 kW, you can still apply for it, go on the wait list. If you don't make it, you can apply again in January. So you've got plenty of time to get your TVA portion ducks in a row before that grant expires. So making the most of the grant. Why is renewable energy production such a great investment in business? It's cash payback, it's return on investment, and it's annual income. Solar is a legacy investment. It's 25 years as the warranty for the production label value. And so just take a quick look at the numbers, how this really pans out. And this is, to me, is kind of a great concept and how a lot of people who in commercial real estate have always worked. It's kind of a cash-on-cash type investment. And if you look at it that way, it's something that you can really leverage over the years. So a typical 50 kW system is going to put out 65,000 kilowatt hours a year. Base out-of-pocket cost for that system is going to be $132,500. And the USDA grant, and again, we're taking the assumption that you're going to treat it as income, but the USDA grant would be $33,125. The federal tax credit is $39,750. Over 5 years, you're going to get a cash value. If you're at a 34% tax rate, you're going to have a cash value of $38,293. So for that $132,000, your real out-of-pocket cost is going to be $21,333. So you just increase the equity of your company in 5 years. Essentially, with a $21,000 investment, your equity went up to, well, if you depreciate, cost by, it's going to be in that $100,000 range for a $21,000 investment. There's not many investments you can do that. So typically this thing is going to produce about $1,300 a month, and then, well, I'm sorry, it's going to be about $6,500 a year based on this model. In this case, what we're doing is just kind of an average bill. That's about 40% of your offset cost. The savings over 25 years is going to be $356,000. That's basically how much that's going to produce, and that's assuming that the price of electricity increases about 6% a year. The return on investment is 10%. The simple payback in years is 7.4 years. And the beautiful thing is if we're talking about cost of electricity, if you're in that 9 to 10% cost, you've basically pre-bought for that electricity, and it's going to average out to about a penny a kilowatt hour. And so how did we do that? Basically, we took the $21,000 and we took how much it was going to produce economically over that 25 years, and we divided it by how many kilowatt hours it was going to produce over the 25 years. And that's how we came up with that 1 cent per kilowatt. If you go over the lifetime of the system and you just do a straight line, it's going to be about, over 25 years, our energy costs will be about 37 cents per kilowatt. And that's just a straight line. That's not taking anything into consideration as all the regulations that are coming down the pike or anything. That's just a linear shot off of what's been going on so far. So, biomass to energy, another great energy producer. Again, 25%, $500,000 cap. For biomass systems, there's a 10% tax credit instead of the 30% for solar. You get accelerated depreciation over 7 years instead of 5. Biomass energies really do not need to be part of the TVA program. They are energy on demand. So as your energy increases, it produces more electricity. As it decreases your needs, you decelerate the generator. So again, with a biomass system, you got a potential of 24/7. So you can take a 50 kW system, and that's going to be 398,000 kilowatt hours instead of the 65. And again, we're talking different numbers. This is the ability to produce when it's dark or when it's cloudy. It's going to be at full production. So the out-of-pocket expense for a small biomass system is going to be $302,000. So the REAP grant will be $75,625. Again, remember it's 10% for the tax credit, so that's going to be about $30,000. The depreciation cash value, again at 34%, is going to be $105,000. So your final out-of-pocket cost is $90,000. So, and thinking about that now this is over 7 years instead of 5. So for a $90,000 investment, you're getting an asset worth about $302,000. Skipping down, this is just some of the numbers as to what the biomass uses. Depending on the biomass system, it can use switchgrass, it can use wood, it can use paper. It's just how you tune your system. But pretty much it's any cellulose material. So the good news is if you're looking for a waste stream like green waste and it's costing you money to dispose of it at $30 a ton, well now you've got a negative fuel cost. So you picture this, pulling up to the pilot oil to fill up your tank and somebody offering you $50 to fill up your car. That's a valuable car, and that's essentially what this is. So very quickly, the utility savings over the first year is going to be about $36,621. Offset of this bill is 52%. The savings over 20 years, so how much power this can produce economically over with a 6% increase, is going to be $1,057,000. The cost for the biomass power is going to be about 8 cents per kilowatt. So again, you're paying 9 right now, between 9 and 12. You're already ahead of the curve at 8 cents. And the reason is because there is an operating cost. With solar, the beautiful thing is no moving parts, the fuel is free, it sits up there, it does its thing. The bad news is that it's limited to when the sun is available. With the biomass system, it's 24/7. The bad news is there's maintenance. You have to change the oil, you have to feed it fuel, you have to clean the air filters, you have to take down for